There comes a time in every life when the noise gets loud, too loud. The world starts to tell you who you are, what you can't do, where you don't belong. You hear the voices of doubt, the whispers of fear, the laughter of those who never believed in your dream. They tell you to settle, to stop, to give up. And for a moment, you think they might be right. You start to question everything, your choices, your worth, your purpose. But deep down, beneath all the noise, something else speaks. It's not loud, but it's powerful. It's not flashy, but it's fierce. It's a whisper that says, keep going. A small, stubborn voice that refuses to die no matter how many times life tries to silence it. That voice, that spark, is the fire within you. It's the part of you that still believes when everything else says, you can't. You see, belief doesn't begin when things go right. Belief begins when everything goes wrong. It's born in the moments when the lights are off, the crowd is gone, and you're standing there with nothing but your will to keep fighting. It's in the moments when quitting looks easier, when failure feels final, and when every reason to stop piles higher than your courage to continue. Yet something inside you still says, not yet. I'm not done. That's the fire. That's the difference. That's what separates those who talk from those who do, those who dream from those who deliver. Because talent might open a door, but belief kicks it down when it's locked. Strength might carry you halfway, but belief will carry you through the storm. You can train your body, but if your mind doesn't believe, every effort will crumble. The truth is, the world doesn't hand you greatness. It challenges you to earn it. And the first challenge is always the same: believing you can, even when no one else does. The world will doubt you. People will misunderstand you. Circumstances will test you. But if that fire inside you burns stronger than the fear around you, you become unstoppable. Hey! Every person who ever achieved something remarkable started with that same fire. A relentless desire to rise, to prove, to become. It wasn't the applause that pushed them. It was the refusal to accept defeat. It wasn't the crowd's validation. It was the quiet conviction that I was built for more. That's the truth. Most people never face. The limits that hold us back aren't out there. They live inside us. The moment you decide to stop listening to your fears and start listening to your fire, everything changes. You stop waiting for permission. You stop seeking approval. You stop living for the opinions of others and start living for the vision within you. And make no mistake, the fire doesn't always roar. Some days it flickers. Some days it feels weak. Some days it hides under the ashes of failure, pain, or exhaustion. But it's still there. It never leaves you. It's waiting for you to breathe life into it again, to feed it with determination, to fan it with courage. Because belief isn't about never falling. It's about always rising. When you stand in front of your own reflection and see the scars, the doubts, the fears, remind yourself that the fire survived every one of them. It's still burning because your story isn't over. You have more to give, more to build, more to become. You were not born to fade quietly into the background. You were born to fight, to create, to rise again and again. When that fire within you, it's not just yours, it's your responsibility. The force that will light the path, not only for yourself, but for everyone watching. Because somewhere, someone is waiting to see if you'll give up. And when you don't, you'll give them permission to believe too. So hold on to that fire, protect it, feed it, guard it from the winds of doubt and the storms of fear. Let it burn so bright that it blinds the shadows trying to follow you. When the world says, you can't, let your fire roar back. Watch me. Because no matter what, face, no matter who stands against you, no matter how long the road, the power to rise, to endure, to conquer, it's already inside you. You don't need the world to believe in you. You just need to believe in yourself. That's where every victory begins. Not in the applause, not in the spotlight. It begins in the fire within. There comes a point when life feels heavy, heavier than you imagined it could ever be. You wake up with questions that don't have answers. You push forward, but the ground beneath you feels uncertain, shifting with every step. The people you thought would walk beside you disappear when the road turns steep. The dreams that once filled you with excitement now feel distant, almost unreachable. And in those moments, the weight of the world doesn't just sit on your shoulders, it presses against your chest, it tightens around your heart. You start to wonder if belief is enough. You start to question if the fight is worth it. You look around and see others succeeding, smiling, living without the same struggle. And you ask yourself, why does it have to be so hard for me? The struggle is the truth. The struggle isn't punishment, it's preparation. The weight you carry is not meant to break you. It's meant to build you. Every obstacle, every setback, every heartbreak is shaping something inside you that comfort never could. Strength doesn't come from what's easy. It comes from what tests you, stretches you, and forces you to rise when you have every reason to fall. Hebrew. You see, life doesn't hand greatness to anyone. It demands proof. It asks, how much do you want this? How much are you willing to endure? And when you think you've given everything, it asks for more. Not because it's cruel, but because it's molding you into someone capable of carrying the success you've been praying for. When you're in the struggle, it's hard to see the purpose. It feels unfair, relentless, lonely. You start to wonder if anyone understands the fight you're in. But understand this. No one escapes the struggle. Every person you admire, every story of triumph you've ever heard began in the darkness of uncertainty. What separates the strong from the broken isn't luck or talent, it's persistence. It's the refusal to let the weight define you. There will be days when your mind says, you can't keep going. That's when you must remind yourself that you've survived worse. Every scar on your soul is proof that you've already beaten the things that were meant to destroy you. You've stood in the storm before, and you're still here. You may not be where you want to be yet, but you're not where you used to be. That alone is progress. That alone is power. The struggle is not your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. It teaches you humility when you're tempted by pride. It teaches you patience when you crave results. It teaches you endurance when everything inside you wants to quit. And slowly, without you even realizing it, it's turning you into song. Anything stronger, not fragile, not uncertain, but unbreakable. Hebrew. There's beauty in the weight you carry, because one day you'll look back and realize that the very things that tried to bury you were the same things that built your foundation. You'll understand that the nights you cried, the days you doubted, the battles you fought in silence, they weren't wasted. They were forming your strength, your resilience, your belief. You have to keep reminding yourself that pressure creates diamonds, storms grow trees with deeper roots, and pain shapes purpose. You can't rise without resistance. You can't become extraordinary without walking through the ordinary moments of struggle that others run from. So don't curse the weight, carry it. Don't run from the pain, learn from it. Don't avoid the hard days, embrace them. Because every challenge you survive adds a layer to your armor. Every time you refuse to give up, you gain a piece of power that no one can take from you. Ibraki, and one day, the weight that once felt unbearable will feel light. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Because you grew stronger than your circumstances, louder than your fears, and more determined than your doubts. When life pushes you to your knees, remember, that's the perfect position to rise from. When the world tells you you're not enough, let your struggle be your answer. Let your scars speak for you. Let your resilience be the proof. The weight of the world is heavy, yes, but you are built to carry it. You are built to endure it, to overcome it, and to rise from beneath it with your fire burning brighter than ever before, because belief isn't proven when things are easy. It's proven when the weight is crushing and you still choose to stand. There comes a moment when you can no longer hide behind excuses, distractions, or the opinions of others. The noise fades, the crowd disappears, and it's just you, standing face to face with the one person you can't outrun, yourself. The mirror doesn't lie. It reflects not only who you are, but who you've been, and even more. who you're afraid to become. In that reflection, you see the truth that words can't hide. You see the moments you quit when you could have kept going. You see the promises you made to yourself but didn't keep. You see the potential you talked about but never chased. The mirror exposes everything, not to shame you, but to remind you. To remind you that the person looking back is capable of far more than they've allowed themselves to be. Because belief begins there, in the confrontation with truth. You can lie to the world, you can wear the smile, you can project strength. But when you stand alone in front of the mirror, none of that matters. The reflection knows who you really are. It knows the fears that whisper in your mind, the doubts that creep in late at night, the comfort that's stolen your progress. It knows every weakness you've hidden, every dream you've delayed. But here's the bow tie. That same reflection also holds your greatest strength. The face staring back at you has endured every storm, every disappointment, every setback. You've been knocked down and gotten back up more times than you've given yourself credit for. You've survived what others might not have. And that same reflection still stands, unbroken, waiting for you to believe again. Facing yourself is not about judgment. It's about responsibility. It's about deciding that from this moment forward, you won't be defined by your past, but driven by your purpose. It's about refusing to play the victim in your own story. Because the truth is, life will never hand you the perfect timing, the perfect plan, or the perfect conditions. It will only hand you a choice to keep waiting or to start becoming. When you look in the mirror, you have to ask yourself the hardest question of all. How badly do I want it? Do I want it enough to sacrifice my comfort? Do I want it enough to do the work when no one's watching? Do I want it enough to keep believing when nothing seems to be working? Because dreams don't respond to wishes. They respond to discipline, to commitment, to relentless belief. You can't blame the world, your past, or your pain forever. At some point, you have to accept that your reflection holds both your greatest obstacle and your greatest opportunity. The person in the mirror can be your enemy or your ally. The difference is whether you keep making excuses or start making progress. Hebrews in progress doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean you'll never stumble, never doubt, never fall. It means you'll keep getting up. It means you'll learn to trust yourself again. It means you'll silence the voice that says you're not enough and replace it with I'm still growing. When you face yourself, you begin to realize that no external battle can defeat you. Not until you surrender internally. The real fight is never out there. It's always been within. The war between who you are, and who you're meant to be is fought every single day in the mirror. And every morning you wake up and choose to show up again. That's victory. So stop looking for validation in the eyes of others. Stop waiting for someone to believe in you before you start believing in yourself. Stop wishing for life to get easier and start demanding that you get stronger, because the reflection's staring back at you. That's your greatest weapon if you're brave enough to face it. You owe that person honesty. You owe them effort. You owe them belief. The mirror will never stop reflecting the truth. But one day, if you stay consistent, that truth will change. One day, you'll look into that reflection and see not the person who doubted, but the one who decided. Not the one who hesitated, but the one who moved. Not the one who broke, but the one who rebuilt. That's the power of facing yourself. That's where transformation begins. Not in the approval of others, not in the comfort of praise, but in the quiet moment when you lock eyes with your reflection and declare, I'm not running anymore. Because when you finally face yourself, truly, honestly, fearlessly, that's when belief stops being an idea and becomes your identity. There comes a time when life stops testing your patience and starts testing your strength. Everything you thought you understood about endurance, courage, and faith gets pushed to the edge. You find yourself in the middle of a battle you didn't choose, one you didn't expect, one that doesn't seem fair. The hits keep coming, the weight keeps growing, and you start to wonder if you can take one more step, one more fall, one more heartbreak. Hebrew. But battles are where believers are built. The battlefield is not a place of comfort, it's a place of clarity. It's where your excuses die and your purpose is reborn. It's where you learn what you're truly made of. Not when life is kind, but when it's cruel. Because anyone can stand tall in the sunshine, but it takes an unbreakable spirit to rise in the storm. You have to understand, the pain you're feeling is not meant to crush you. It's meant to carve you. Every struggle is shaping your edges, strengthening your heart, sharpening your focus. The world may throw obstacles in your path, but every obstacle is an invitation, a chance to rise higher, to dig deeper, to refuse to break. When you're in the middle of the battle, everything inside you screams to stop. Your mind tells you it's over. Your body begs you to quit. But that's the exact moment when belief must take over, because belief doesn't wait for the pain to fade. It pushes through it. Belief doesn't run from the storm. It walks straight into it, knowing that beyond the chaos lies clarity, and beyond the pain lies power. You will be tempted to give in, to listen to the voice that says, this is too much. But every time you stand back up, every time you push one more inch, every time you whisper, not yet, when everything says stop, you become stronger than before. You build a resilience that can't be taught, only earned. Understand this. The battle isn't about what happens to you. It's about what happens within you. It's not the wounds that define you, but the will to heal them. It's not the fall that matters, but the decision to rise again. You don't win because life gets easier. You win because you refuse to surrender when it gets harder. Sometimes victory doesn't look like triumph. It looks like endurance. It looks like waking up after a sleepless night and still choosing to move forward. It looks like failing again and still showing up with faith. The greatest warriors are not the ones who never fall. They're the ones who fall 1,000 times and never stay down. And yes, there will be moments when no one understands your fight. You'll feel alone, unseen, unheard. But battles are not meant to be witnessed. They're meant to be won in silence. Your scars will tell the story later. For now, your only job is to keep fighting, because every step forward, no matter how small, is a declaration. I'm still here. I'm not done yet. But the truth is, life will never stop testing you. There will always be new battles, new pain, new mountains to climb. But once you've learned how to stand in a storm, once you've felt the power of surviving what should have destroyed you, you'll never fear the fight again. You'll walk into every challenge knowing, I've been here before and I know how to win. The battle is not about breaking you. It's about awakening you. It's about revealing the strength you forgot you had, the fire you tried to bury, the courage you didn't know existed. Every trial is building the warrior within you. Every moment of pain is teaching your soul how to rise with purpose. So when the world hits you, hit back with faith. When the weight feels unbearable, lift it with belief. When the darkness surrounds you, burn brighter, because the battle doesn't end when you get tired. D, it ends when you win. Abraham refused to break, refused to bend, refused to be defined by defeat. The storm may rage, the wounds may hurt, but as long as there is breath in your body and fire in your spirit, the fight is not over. And one day, when the dust settles, when the noise fades, and the sun returns, you'll look back and realize you didn't just survive the battle. You became the battle. You became the proof that nothing, no pain, no loss, no doubt can destroy a person who refuses to break. At some point in your journey, belief must evolve into something greater. It can't just be an emotion you feel when things go right. It can't just be motivation that fades when the noise of life grows loud again. Real belief becomes a standard, a code that you live by when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when no one even believes you can. Because belief is not just a feeling, it's a decision. A decision to show up with discipline, to carry yourself with purpose, and to demand more from your life than the world expects. It's what you stand for when everything else around you falls apart. You have to understand, the world won't always respect your grind. It won't always recognize your effort. There will be days when you give everything you have and no one notices, no one thanks you, no one cares. But that's when your standard matters most, because you don't do it for applause. You do it because that's who you are. The standard is the invisible line you refuse to cross. It's the voice inside you that says, I will not settle. It's the inner code that refuses shortcuts, even when the long road feels unbearable. The standard means you hold yourself accountable when it would be easier to make excuses. It means you stay true when temptation tries to pull you off course. You see, anyone can perform when eyes are on them, but your true strength is measured in the moments no one sees. The quiet hours, the unseen effort, the sacrifices made in silence, that's where character is built. That's where greatness is born. Hebrew, having a standard means you live with intention. You don't move with the crowd, you move with conviction. You don't chase popularity, you chase purpose. You don't let the mood of the day dictate your effort. Your effort comes from who you are, not how you feel. There will be times when you're tired, when you question why you keep going. You'll look around and wonder why others seem to have it easier, why you're still fighting the same battles. But your standard doesn't bend under pressure. It doesn't negotiate with doubt. It doesn't disappear when success takes too long to arrive. Hebrew, the standard you hold yourself to becomes your signature. It's what people remember long after the victories fade. Because talent impresses people, but consistency earns respect. The world doesn't just need dreamers, it needs doers. It needs people whose actions match their words, whose effort matches their ambition. Ibrahim, when you set a standard, you begin to change the way you see yourself. You stop identifying with your mistakes and start aligning with your mission. You stop asking for permission to be great. You start living like greatness is already yours. You no longer need validation from others because your validation comes from within.
Ibrahim, living by a standard is not easy.
It means holding yourself to a higher expectation, even when no one else does. It means doing the right thing when the wrong thing feels more convenient. It means choosing growth over comfort, excellence over mediocrity, and progress over excuses. And here's the truth. You won't always meet your own standard perfectly. You'll fall short, you'll fail, but you'll also rise, because the standard is not about perfection, it's about consistency. It's about waking up every day with the determination to be better than yesterday. Even if you stumble, you rise again with the same fire. Ibrahim. Cause start to realize that your standard defines your destiny, the energy you give. Oh, the world returns to you multiplied. The way you show up every day in your discipline, in your focus, in your belief, builds momentum that no obstacle can stop. You become a force of nature, driven not by approval, but by principle. Ibrahim people will notice. They'll feel it in how you move, how you speak, how you lead. You'll inspire, not by what you say, but by what you do, by the standard you live by. And one day, when you look back, you'll see that the victories weren't built in the moments of glory. They were built in the grind, in the repetition, in the relentless pursuit of your best self, even when no one was watching. That's the power of having a standard. It's not about being better than others. It's about being better than who you were yesterday. It's about holding yourself accountable to the promise you made to your own soul. Because when you live by a standard, you don't just chase greatness, you embody it. You don't just dream about success, you define it through ever. Why choice? Every action, every day, you refuse to compromise. Ibrahim, your standard becomes your strength. Your consistency becomes your legacy, and your belief becomes unshakable. There will come a time when the noise fades, the spotlight dims, and the world moves on. The trophies will gather dust, the applause will grow quiet, and the achievements you fought for will become memories. But what remains, what truly endures, is the legacy you leave behind. The mark you carve into time, not through words or titles, but through who you became when life demanded everything from you. Legacy isn't built in the moments of celebration. It's built in the moments of suffering. In the moments when you wanted to quit but didn't. When you were broken but still chose to believe. When no one was watching but you still gave your best. Those moments, those invisible battles are the foundation of every legacy that lasts. Because legacy isn't about what you have. It's about what you give. It's about the STR. Ink you show, the lessons you teach, and the lives you touch along the way. It's about standing as proof that no matter how dark the road gets, belief can still light the way. Every scar you carry tells a story of endurance, of courage, of faith. Those scars aren't signs of weakness. They are symbols of victory. They say, I survived. They say, I kept going. They say, I believe when no one else did. That's what legacy truly is. Not perfection, but persistence. Not being flawless, but being faithful to your purpose. Hebrew. Too many people chase success and forget significance. They measure their lives what they've gained instead of what they've given. But a true legacy isn't about recognition. It's about impact. It's about how your strength becomes someone else's hope. How your belief becomes someone else's courage. How your story gives others permission to rise. There will always be people watching you, some in admiration, some in doubt. But what matters most is not their opinion, it's your example. Because your journey might be the blueprint for someone else's breakthrough. The way you stand, the way you fight, the way you keep believing through the storm, that might be what gives another person the strength to take one more step in their own battle. Legacy is about what you leave in others, not what you leave behind. It's about how your spirit echoes long after your voice is gone. It's about how your resilience inspires someone to believe that they can endure too. And that only happens when you stop living for yourself and start living for something greater, something that outlasts you. There's a quiet power in knowing that your struggle has meaning, that your pain can become purpose, that the hard days are not wasted if they build something eternal. Because every time you overcome, every time you refuse to break, every time you choose faith over fear, you add a new chapter to your legacy. A chapter written in strength, written in belief. Written in fire. Hey, bruh. And maybe you don't see it yet. Maybe right now you're still in the middle of it, still fighting, still bleeding, still waiting for light. But even now, your story is being written. Every decision you make, every time you choose courage over comfort, every time you pick yourself up again, you're shaping something far greater than the moment you're in. Hebrew. You're creating a trail for others to follow. A legacy, perseverance, a legacy of belief. And one day, someone will look at your journey, your struggles, your setbacks, your scars, and they'll say, if they could do it, so can I. That's the true power of belief. It doesn't just change your life. It ripples outward and changes others. Hebrew. So keep building your legacy, even when no one notices. Keep believing, even when no one understands. Because one day, the impact of your endurance will reach further than you can imagine. You will have proven that greatness isn't about what you achieve, but what you overcome. See, Bert, you. Our legacy will not be built on the moments you had it easy, but on the moments you refused to quit. It will live in the hearts of those who found courage through your struggle, strength through your story, and belief through your example. Hebrew. Because legacy isn't written in comfort, it's forged in fire. It's not built on what you say. It's built on what you stand for. And when your time comes, the world won't remember how perfect you were. Hebrew. It will remember how powerful your belief was. That's legacy. To live in a way that your faith, your resilience, your purpose continue to speak long after you're gone.